That's caught. Randall Cobb into Chicago territory. Randall Cobb inside the 20-yard line. Randall Cobb is going to score.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Open Book here on Game On Wisconsin. I am Eli, here as always with Zach and Jen. For what we expected to be kind of a slow week or month kind of leading up to free agency, there's been a ton of news with all the press conferences going on for the Packers coaches. Brian Gutenkunst met with the media, so there's a lot to discuss still with the Packers, which is fun because, talking about the same thing over and over was getting a little bit boring. But before we get to some of the news, how are both of you doing? How's everything going? Zach, what are you up to? I don't know. I just need to get my head together because I'm like 70% sure I have COVID. If it's not COVID, it's something else. But my head's all over the place. So if I'm spaced out, you guys have to cover me. But how you guys doing?
Well, I mean, I don't know how you expect us to follow that up. You basically just told us that you have COVID. I mean, Eli, are you how are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm doing, as the day goes on, it's weird. It's I wake up in the morning super sick, and then it gets a little bit better. And then as it gets to night, I get sicker again. So I decided to just take old antibiotics I found in my bathroom. We'll see if that does the job. I think they're expired, but it is what it is.
Hopefully it's just a regular cold or something. Because I feel like nowadays, today's day and age, everybody gets a little hint of sickness. They get a sore throat or a cough or something. Oh my God, it's COVID. I'm dying. That's it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So Zach's basically saying you're overreacting and get over it.
No, so
I'm trying to help him not worry. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm not too worried because, it's weird. I got the first dose of the vaccine, actually, and I think that's probably where I was most exposed to other people that might have it. So I probably got it getting the vaccine, which is classic, just, America at its finest. But let's get to some we got the Carhartt going. Carhartt, I know you're watching. We need the sponsorship.
Well, Jen, how are you doing, Jen?
Oh, well, you noticed that I'm actually on the show today, so that's nice.
Ooh, got him. No, just no response. All right.
I'm gonna let her have that. I deserve it.
Yeah, you do. Totally forgot that I am on this show, but yeah, I'm fine.
All right, well, thank you, Justin, for the well wishes. Appreciate
I went 5 months doing this show purely with Eli as my co-host. Okay, I'm still getting accustomed to having a third party here. Okay, you gotta cut me some slack. All right, I'm a guy that balances so many different things. So it was nothing personal.
For how much I annoy you guys in the group chat about show prep, you think you would know that I'm on the show.
I tell you all the time how important you are to us and how important you are to the show. So don't even start.
Zach's just forgetful as a person. Very, like Lambeau LeBeau says, he's a busy guy.
I am a busy man. And also,
I'll let it slide just this once.
Thank you, Amar, for showing up. I quoted the Game On Wisconsin tweet of our show and said that if you don't watch, then you hate puppies. So just for that context,
you gotta watch because if you hate puppies, you're just the worst. So, getting to some football now, though. Like I said,
got the drama out of the way.
Yeah, it seemed like basically all the coaches had press conferences this week. Matt LaFleur, Joe Barry, Nathaniel Hackett. Everyone had a lot to say. Some of the things that stood out to me, I think, two things that really stood out to me would be Goody saying that, if the right player comes along, he believes they can make it work. More puppy.
Geez, Zach must have really threatened the Twitter timeline today.
Yeah, people don't mess with Zach and his puppy hatred.
Hey man, it worked.
Look, you're here, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, Goody's saying that they, look, you could just be talking like anyone would talk, but hopefully that he's serious about if the right player comes along, they can make a move and actually sign that person. And then I think it was Andy Herman that asked him about the franchise tag in regards to Aaron Jones. And he said that's still something that can certainly be done. So we've discussed Aaron Jones and the franchise tag the last couple of weeks. We'll still, we'll have to see what happens with that. But Zach, what did you get out of those press conferences? What stood out to you from whether it was LaFleur, Goody, Hackett, or of course, new DC, Joe Barry? What's something that stuck with you?
I mean, as far as Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutenkunst go, it felt like just the typical roundabout, the talking, the typical stuff that we always hear around this time of year every single time they step to the podium. Conjecture, pretty much. You're not really going to take away too much. They're not going to give you too much. What I really took away, what I really kind of like gathered from those press conferences was Joe Barry and Maurice Drayton. They're both filled with so much energy. Like you can feel like those are two just invigorating personalities. Like you could feel it through the screen when I was watching. Like, and also with Joe Barry, like I know he's been doing this for a long time. Like he's been among the professional coaching ranks since 2001 when he came to Tampa Bay, but he is so comfortable already. Like he was just shooting the shit with the local beat writers, just talking it up with them, just having a good time, talking about how he went ice fishing in Green Bay already, the typical Wisconsin culture. I liked him. I liked his personality. And if he can bring that energy, I mean, we all know last year energy was like the hot topic about the Packers defense. Like they lacked energy one week. If they can bring it the next week, then they're going to play well. They can feed off of each other. And like our friend here in the comments said, he said that's an excellent question about 30 times.
Yeah, to every question. Yeah, excellent question. Yeah.
Well, that's because what was funny about him was he answers questions like I do, where he gets asked a question and he says about 7 different things. And then he's like, well, that's a great question, so let me get back to it. But I'm going to talk about a couple other things, and then I'll answer your question later.
Yeah, it's like he rambles on.
But it was
travels,
like, it was Joe ramble.
Yeah, exactly. Like you took away something from everything he was talking about, but he was sure to come back to the topic at the end of whatever he was talking about. So he'd be like, oh, to answer your question. So he was
just excited. Like you could tell he was excited and he just wanted to talk about it. It was funny. Him and Mo were very different. Like they both have the energy, but Mo was more straightforward with his answers. He was very simplistic and right to the point, and Barry was complete opposite.
You can tell Maurice Drayton's kind of been in the building for a while. He's seen firsthand kind of like how abysmal these special teams have been. He kind of wants to make them better, and he wants to be the guy responsible for doing that and just changing the narrative completely. And for Joe Barry, he wants to be this guy now with his 3rd opportunity as a defensive coordinator. He wants to prove that he can be successful, at that job. A couple of years in Detroit, a couple of years in Washington.
He wears those scars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that quote. I loved that so much I did a goddamn story on it. That's how much I loved it.
Yeah, no, I mean, LaFleur also talked all about how much energy he brings. I think the quote was, how enthusiastic he is. He said he's a pretty excitable guy, which I think we can all agree is the opposite of what Mike Pettin was, who was just, straight face, always looking like grumpy, whatever. And I've watched, whether it was him on the Rams or previous spots, like he's someone who's going to be running up and down the sidelines and jumping and yelling, and you need that energy to put into your defensive players. If you're just standing back there with your clipboard with a frown on your face and not really giving off that energy to your players, they're not going to play with a lot of energy on the field. So that's something I was really excited about with Barry.
Yeah. And I understand like everybody wants to like look at, those 32nd ranked total defenses in Detroit and the 27th ranked defenses in Washington, those back-to-back years. It's one thing to come in with that type of resume and brush it off, act like it never happened, just be completely dismissive of it. But Barry came in, he acknowledged it. And, like Jen talked about with the scars, she brought it up. He's wearing those proudly. He's acknowledging like, hey, that happened. that was a rough patch for me. I'm still here. I have this third gig in front of me, and I have an opportunity to change that narrative about myself. And I'm still doing this at the professional level. So I freaking adored that, man. So
yeah, I mean his exact quote when he was talking, saying, "I'm really proud of my scars. I really am, and I think that in life, that you're hardened in life by tough experiences. Don't get me wrong. I think you could learn a lot from knowing you have success and being in a good place. But I think when true growth takes place, I think that's when things are really hard." And that's pretty true. When he was in Detroit or Washington, things didn't go all that well. And he may not have been the defensive coordinator in Los Angeles, but he was a part of a really, really good defense for multiple years. And he was a big reason why that defense was so good, running the linebacker group. And like he mentioned, he learned from Tony Dungy, Vic Fangio, Wade Phillips, and kind of meshed. He's going to be meshing all those defenses. And I like what he said, how he said that I've learned from all these guys, and I have my system. It's called the 2021 Green Bay Packers system. Like, he's going to take from each spot he learns what he liked, what he didn't like, make his own thing. And I'm excited about that. He did say the base would be a 3-4, which, again, I like. I think that suits our personnel better. I think it's a better way to play right now in the NFL. But overall, like Zach said, I'm pretty excited about Barry. And then when it comes to special teams, we know it really can't get much worse. And the fact that they promoted from within, that I feel like that means they must be really confident in Mo, that like, okay, it was really bad, but clearly you must have a different idea about it. Otherwise you wouldn't just promote you and then it would be the same thing. So I did like the energy that both of those guys gave off. And
I like that Barry and LaFleur share that 1 year together too, because it was kind of cool how Barry was talking about how like proud he was of LaFleur for his interview process. And I was like, so he's almost like proud of the way that he hired him. So it was cool to see that little connection show.
Yeah, a long interview process. I believe it ended up being about 14 hours, he said, between, I don't know, like 5 or 6 different phone calls.
Zoom calls and then phone calls between. And
yeah, but I mean, I think they said that he was the ninth guy. The ninth guy. I can't even talk. The ninth guy they interviewed, and then to go and do it so extensively for that long, like I think it shows just Matt LaFleur is paying attention to every single detail. Like there's no more room for error. You've been to 2 straight title games, 0 Super Bowl appearances from those 2. The time for, we'll see what happens next is kind of over. It seems like when he was interviewing Barry and anyone else he interviewed for that job, he was going to get every answer he wanted and then work off that in making his decision. So again,
Barry checked all his boxes according to LaFleur. So
yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like I trust LaFleur, and I think if LaFleur sees something in Barry, then I'm going to take it, because again, none of us can really sit here with all that much confidence and say, oh, the defensive coordinator is for sure going to do this or do that. Like, we just don't know exactly how coordinators are going to go about it, but I'm pretty excited about him. What country shit are you wearing? Yours? Okay, number one, I'm not a city boy. That's because I'm from Chicago. I don't live in the city. The city's too crowded for me. I'm more of if I was like, I'd rather live by a lake, like another person here on the show, sitting around, you got a lake, a golf course, random golf balls coming, hitting me in the head. But
so Minnesota.
Yeah, well, no, not Minnesota. I would be more like, I lived in South Bend for 4 years. That was a fun place. But I'm mostly wearing this country shit because I'm cold, but I'm not like cold enough to put on a jacket. Jacob, maybe you missed the beginning of the show, but I'm a bit under the weather, but yet I'm still here. So like, Jacob, you're welcome in advance. Got him. But yeah, moving on to another thing that kind of surprised me was what they said about Preston Smith and that they expect him to be back. So we all know a lot of people were expecting Preston to be cut. So Jen, what are your thoughts about them saying they expect Preston back? You think that's they're just saying that? Is it serious? What are your thoughts on Preston and him coming back or not?
I mean, I feel like they wouldn't put it out there if there wasn't some sort of seriousness with it. I mean, with new DC in the building, I think Preston has all the talent. So with Barry in the building, who knows? Maybe he just wasn't being utilized right, and that was a lot of the problem. Yeah, there was a drop off. He had a phenomenal year, and then not so great of a year. But I think he has all the potential, and this defense has the potential around him too to really do something special. So I really wouldn't be that mad if he came back at the right price and it all worked out. But if he is the best option free agency wise, I trust wholeheartedly what they're doing. They know what they're doing. I don't know. So I'm just some person who watches them on TV, and they know a lot more of what's happening on within the building and within the walls of Lambeau. And I don't know. I don't have much of a problem with Preston Smith because he did kind of have that bump where he did start to produce throughout the year. And I think that showed signs that, yeah, he still has it. It wasn't like he had a fluke year. I mean, him and Z both had phenomenal years, and that's really tough to follow. But I wouldn't be out there like stomping my feet if Preston came back. I think it would mean that whatever Barry sees in him, he wants on this defense. And that's just what we'd have to roll with.
Yeah, so this is something that I've been curious about, though. I mean, like, I'm with you, Jen, overall, that I don't think Preston Smith is like a lost cause where it's just like, okay, cut him, he's done. There's no way he could get back.
For the right price.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For the right price kind of guy. That's why I hope they could work on a restructure of that contract, because he's getting paid a lot of money and his 2020 performance doesn't really live up to that contract. But Zach, how are you? What are your thoughts towards Preston? I feel like in the past you've mentioned that you wanted to see them move on from him, but I could be wrong on that. So,
yeah, I did mention them kind of like, it would be in their best interest probably to move on to him from him. But I mean, now that it's out there that they're going to keep him around, I think the best avenue that they could possibly take is restructuring his deal. I mean, his production in 2020 doesn't justify the type of money that they're going to pay him. Was it 12 million or 16 million? Right in that. Yeah. It was one of those. I don't remember, but it doesn't justify that number. But at the same time, not only can you not have enough good pass rushers on your team, but also who are you going to replace him with right now in 2021? You're probably not going to sign a guy off of the street. Rashawn Gary is probably going to get his snaps anyway, even if they do keep Preston Smith. I mean, he's going to leapfrog him on the depth chart regardless. But if you look at Preston Smith's career, I mean, he has been sporadic in terms of his sack numbers. I mean, he went from like 8 to 4.5, back to 8, back down to 4. Then when he came to Green Bay, he went to 12, and then last year he was back down at 4. So I think the method to their madness right now is like they're reuniting him with a guy that he spent the first 2 years of his career in Washington with, 2015 and 2016. Hopefully that can maybe energize him. Maybe that can kind of like bring the type of player that he was in 2019 back out, or even the type of player he was early on in Washington. And Jen mentioned the type of great year that he had in his first year with the Packers. That's, and I've talked about this before too, that's impossible to really replicate, unless you're one of the greats. Yeah. And Preston Smith isn't one of the greats.
Yeah. I mean, even Zadarius, we knew neither of them were really going to live up to what they did in 2019. And Zadarius didn't have a bad year this past year, but 2019 was so ridiculously good, he never really had a chance to do the same thing.
It set this dangerous precedent that they're going to repeat, and they're going to do the exact same things in 2020. They're going to follow it up with the same dominant play, and that's just unrealistic, regardless of who you are. So, I don't mind seeing Preston Smith back. Like I said, you can't have enough average to good pass rushers, and that is the ballpark that Preston Smith falls in. So if they can keep him on a restructured deal, I think that's like the best possible scenario for both parties.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I really hope they could figure out something money-wise. And, I mean, there's going to be probably a lot of restructuring going on, or at least hopefully, because, again, like I said earlier, Goody did, say, and again, it could just be talk, but that if there was a player that came along that felt like the right fit, they could go out and make something happen. It's not going to be a ton, but it could be one really solid player, maybe two smaller pieces. But I'm just hoping that they can work something out with Preston where they can keep him, but at a lower price. Because I don't know if right now he's worth what he's being paid. But another thing they mentioned, and again, I don't know how much this means, but in regards to Corey Linsley saying, that they're not closing the door on that situation either. And this is just coming to my head now. We've been talking about franchise tagging Aaron Jones, which would be at about $8 million. I would have to imagine the center franchise tag is less than a running back franchise tag. So why hasn't that been a discussion, do you guys think? Maybe just franchise Linsley, even if it's just for one more year, but we all know how important he is to this line.
Well, that would mean he has to agree with that, and he could probably get more money than a franchise tag elsewhere. He would be able to get that long-term financial security elsewhere. If he
is a franchise tag. I thought a franchise tag isn't really like a negotiation, because I feel like most players, if that was the case, they wouldn't play under the tag. But I was under the impression that a team could just franchise tag a guy and basically that's the situation. But
there's two different types. There's
the transition and then there's the franchise.
Yeah. So maybe I'm a bit lost here, but I was under the impression that if the team franchise tags someone, he's staying on the team. Like, he can maybe hold out, but I don't could someone decline a franchise tag? Because I feel like guys would do that way more often then.
I feel like they should. Franchise tag kind of sucks for them, but
yeah, there has to be some kind of not a loophole, but there has to be some kind of way for agents or players to kind of weasel their way out of a franchise.
I feel like otherwise Dak Prescott would be in a different situation.
Yeah, or even Kirk Cousins was franchised twice in Washington, and it's like, do you have to play on the tag, or could you just decline it and be a free agent? Because I feel like most guys
I can't remember what two tags, but there's the one where it's you can't meet with any other teams, and then one where you can still meet with other teams, I think, under the tag. I don't know. I looked it up 2 days ago.
Or is that maybe just the restricted free agent as opposed to unrestricted free agent? Maybe that's what you're referring to.
I can't tell by Zach's face if I'm even saying anything that's right.
Oh my god!
He's looking like I'm just gonna let her talk.
I'm not even doing anything.
Little eye squint.
There is the restricted free agency where you're not allowed to meet with certain teams unless a certain offer is made by the initial team or something, and then unrestricted free agency where you hit the market. I was squinting my eyes because I was trying to remember.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember exactly how the tag. The truth is, the Packers so rarely use a franchise tag that I don't have all that much experience in thinking about it.
Yeah, I think the last time was Ryan Pickett, 2009, 2010. I think
Ryan Pickett, Spill It Pickett, still one of the greatest moments ever. But real quick, just closing out on Joe Barry, a couple things that stood out to me. He continuously brought up the nickel corner or the star corner. He used the word a few times, and I believe that's where Chandon Sullivan was lining up most of the time last year. But right now, everyone is looking at the Packers to draft a cornerback in maybe the first round, second, somewhere early in the draft. And we've been looking at a lot of outside corners, but it seems like Barry is very into nickel corners and guys that can be versatile inside and out. And just a name, I don't know if either of you have watched anything on him, but Elijah Molden out of Washington is a nickel corner that I wish I would have uploaded some of his film. Maybe I still can. We could watch it because he's someone that I think would fit this scheme perfectly. And it was weird when I heard it because we're all thinking we need a replacement for Kevin King, but he continues to talk about the nickel cornerback and guys that can be versatile. And once again, like the theme of everything since Goody's taken over has been versatility. Everyone they draft, they want to be able to be versatile in what they do and do multiple different things. So, Jen, I mean, if come draft night, they go and draft a slot corner, whoever it is, you like the pick, don't like the pick, how would you see them addressing outside cornerback then? You know, because
you
I
cut
don't
out
know.
for me, so I missed like half that question.
I said, if they end up drafting a nickel corner, someone who's going to be lining up in the slot more times than not, we've all been expecting a replacement for Kevin King on the outside. So now we have to think who could replace Kevin King on the outside, whether it's a free agent, someone on the roster right now. We haven't really seen Chandler Sullivan play on the outside all that much. They clearly don't have a lot of confidence in Josh Jackson. I actually think Kadar Holman could be a possible option. I think in his limited playing time last year, I think he looked pretty good at times. But how do you think they would address outside corner if they went with a nickel corner as opposed to drafting Kevin King's next replacement?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't really think much of that. So I didn't I don't know, I'm like kind of caught off guard. I just watched these press conferences, so I didn't get to kind of dive into it. But realistically, I mean, I don't know who's available in free agency who could fill that. I mean, again, for the right price, but hopefully later on we can look at some prospects who could maybe fill that. I don't know. Realistically, all I was thinking when I was watching these is I like what they're saying in these press conferences, but the players also need to do their part. That's kind of what kept spinning in my brain. It was like, you know, they can say all these things, how they want guys to line up, who they want to line up where, but if the players don't do their part, then everything they said is junk and doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is definitely true. If the players screw you, you're kind of done there. And then finally, Barry finished off his press conference with what I like to hear out of any coordinator or coach saying, I'm not making a bunch of promises, but then goes and promises. So it's kind of weird because I'm not making a bunch of promises, but I promise the guys will tackle, they will get off blocks. I promise we will do everything humanly possible to take the ball away and get it back to number 12. We're going to play fast and furious. So first off, he's not making any promises, but he's also going to make a handful.
Yeah, see, that's like what it was like. He's saying these, but it's like he can say it, but the players have to still do it. Like, it's not like the players go out there and they're like, you know what, I'm just not going to tackle. Like, I don't think that's what goes through their mind when they're out there. It's the execution is.
At times, our defense looked like maybe they went out there. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I just won't tackle on this play. One play comes to mind, that Alvin Kamara touchdown versus
where like 7 people just kind of washed. Yeah.
That was one of the most embarrassing. That reminded me of remember the LeGarrette Blount touchdown run when he was on the Bucs? He ran over basically the entire defense.
2011.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. We won that game, but that was an embarrassing display of tackling.
It's like from initial contact too, like where initial contact is made and then they get 15 more yards like that.
Yeah,
I can't watch that anymore.
I remember that game. It was scary. I thought the undefeated streak was going to come to an end that day against the Buccaneers.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I still remember that game because it felt like such a trap game that I was like, you know what? I'm going to reverse this. And I made a bet, and this is going to sound really bad, but I made a bet with my friend against the Packers saying, you know what? I forgot how much it was, but I basically bet against the Packers to reverse it and be like, you know what? If I bet against them, they're going to win and I'll lose money and I'll take it. And they won.
You were trying to create a situation where you walk away a winner no matter what.
Yeah, but I would still rather they win than any kind of bet I was going to make. But yeah, that was my thought process. I just had a bad feeling, and I was like, if they're going to lose this game to the Bucs, I better walk out with a couple bucks to go buy some beer or something. But before we completely forget, might as well throw it up here. Oh, hey, Zach, go ahead.
I wanted to chime in on the corner thing.
Oh,
yeah, let Zach talk about it. He'll be able to cover it.
Yeah, that's funny. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, screw me, right?
Yeah.
Kidding. Don't rule out. Well, because Joe Barry talked about loving having guys that could do different things. That versatility. So don't rule out the possibility of Darnell Savage coming down into the slot and Packers potentially drafting a safety to kind of fortify the back end. I'm sure they'll still dip into the corner class because it's a good corner class. So obviously you want to do that, but don't rule out the possibility of them, aiming high for a safety to kind of supplement a possible absence of Darnell Savage in case they have him play. I don't want to say exclusively, but pretty often in that star role, which when he does, I mean, he's pretty good in there. So.
Yeah, no, he obviously last year to finish the year, he was phenomenal and he did plenty of playing in the slot. So that is a good point. So that could happen. But let me throw up this quick clip of Elijah Molden. This is just in one game going up against Utah. And you just see the kind of impact he makes in the middle of the field over here. I really like his physicality, speed. He seems to have a good football IQ. I mean, the ball might have been thrown right to him, but he was on that guy's ass the whole time. Like there was no separation for the receiver there. Here, I believe he makes a nice tackle on a tight end. Just see right there, didn't gain an extra yard. If anything, went backwards. Those are the kind of plays where we would see, maybe Will Redmond just slip that tackle. All of a sudden, the guys just gained an extra 8 to 10 yards. So this is someone that I've been looking at that I think could really be a good fit in this defense. Here's a running back and just boom. Just alone, grabs him, brings him straight down.
That's really
yeah, exactly. And he comes from Washington, which is a good program. They always seem to have a good defense. Kevin King is obviously a former Washington player, but we won't have to go into that because I know people don't want to hear that probably. But yeah, I mean, look, you see he's a hard hitter. Like this guy does not mess around. He's good in coverage. He's a good tackler. And I just think that if come pick 29, an outside corner isn't there, I think he's someone that they could definitely pick and use in multiple different roles on the defense.
It's nice to see low tackling where the receiver doesn't slip out too.
Yeah.
Unfamiliar territory.
All of those hits were below the waist. You're not going for the shoulders and getting shrugged off like we saw in that, let's say, Kamara play. But yeah, Elijah Molden's someone I'm watching out for.
And that tackle on the tight end was probably the most impressive play out of that whole bunch because, I mean, like his back looked like it was turned for a majority of that play, and he was getting ready to carry his assignment up the sideline, and he turned around just right at the right moment. Like he identified what was happening behind him, and he crashed back down and made the play. I mean, I feel like most of the Packers secondary right now, as they stand at the moment, wouldn't have made that play. Their back would still be to the guy with the ball, and they'd be running up the sideline. They have no idea what's happening behind them.
Yeah, he has really good instincts. From what I've watched so far, I haven't gotten to watch a ton of him, but he just seems to always just react really quickly.
He outran that receiver's route.
Yeah, exactly. That first interception, like he was literally, there wasn't an inch of separation, and obviously that's why it got intercepted in the end. But that's just, again, overall, Goody said it, Joe Barry said it, LaFleur always says it. They just want versatility. So regardless of what it may say on the draft board of the height, size, weight, this, that, if they know you can do multiple things across the defense, and probably same goes for offense, as we've seen the way they've drafted, especially on the offensive line, they want versatile guys. And I think Molden can be someone who can do something like that. And we were going to highlight another draft prospect a little bit later on in the show, but we actually have another game. Yeah, Zach still got those amino acids going.
Hello, Cole.
Yeah, Cole, nice to have you back. I think we missed you last week, but nice to see you're back here. But
hey, fake.
He's actually gone the last 2 weeks, so
wow, Cole.
I joined and he stopped watching.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty rude. Unbelievable. But we got to get to our game, and everyone in the comments, you're absolutely invited and expected to participate in this game. And it's basically like you see on Twitter where you build your roster went through some Packer greats. And we have to give a shout out to Titletown Rain on Twitter, who anyone watching here should know by now. If you're not, go follow him at Titletown Rain. Amazing Packers content, graphics, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to see like half of me and Jen and Zach. You're blocked out completely.
Thank God.
Yeah, you're doing everybody a favor.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
Eli,
that.
turn off the scroll thing so you can.
Yeah, I gotta get rid of the banner so you can see. So this is the deal. You got $10. You got to build your team: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and one defensive player. So Jen, because chivalry is not dead. Woman, go first, please.
Do you want me to? Do you want me to say all 4 of them, or I do all 4 of them right away?
Let's just go. Let's go with the list, and then we can compare our teams. And when mine is the best, I will be happy about it.
Okay, so I chose. I hope my math lines up. Somebody tell me if I'm off. I chose Starr at quarterback, Grant at running back, obviously Jordy at wide receiver, and Woodson for defense.
Okay, so you got Bart Starr, Ryan Grant, Jordy, and Woodson. All right,
that's right. Yep.
Well, yeah, I think as long as it's 1 from each column. I'm terrible at math, but yeah, I think that is 10. But that would be quite the offense. Bart Starr handing off to Ryan
Starr
Grant.
Throwing it to Jordy Nelson would be a dream. I could die happy if I could see that.
Yeah, and then you got Woodson.
I can't see Zach, but I know he's rolling his eyes at me.
Zach, how about you? I gotta write these down so we could do a little compare and contrast at the end of it all. But Zach, who you picking?
All right. Give me Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Grant at running back, because running backs don't matter.
Jeez.
Don't get me wrong, Ryan Grant is great. I love Ryan Grant.
It's a steal to get him for $1.
It is. He was very good for a couple of years. And I will take Donald Driver at $1. And I will take Charles Woodson.
Oh, so you went with so you got creative with your money usage. See, I wouldn't have the brain power to do that, but that's why I had you go first, so I could realize that these things are possible. So you got Ryan Grant, Donald Driver, Aaron Rodgers, and Charles Woodson.
Pretty much the 2009 Packers, basically. That's pretty much what I just did.
Basically what it was. To be honest, I haven't had a good chance to look at this list, and again, I'm bad at math, so this might be wrong.
Prep. I sent this to you yesterday.
You think everyone has time to.
And we planned on doing this last week, so you should have technically been ready a week ago.
Wow, can I change my answer? Because I did just realize that my team already happened for a few years, so.
Oh, so you realize maybe it didn't work out that well?
Yeah, this isn't really a dream team.
Zach, we can do a one-time switch.
A redraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We'll give you a minute to think about that while we get some fans' picks in. So we have Cole going with Rodgers, Lacey, Jordy, and Clark. Solid group. Definitely can't argue with that. Kenny Clark in the middle on defense. I like that. Parker, Rodgers, Green, Cobb, and Clark. Randall Cobb. First call out for Randall Cobb. Cobb, we miss you. Come back to us. It's not too late. Never too late. But Zach, all right, I'm giving you your chance at a redraft. This is the first time in open book history people get second chances at this game. So you better take.
Zach has been given too many second chances already today. So.
Oh, give me a break! I work hard for these second chances.
Okay.
All right, I'm taking Rodgers at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Amon Green at running back.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm talking about prime Amon Green, not 2009 Amon Green.
Definitely.
I'm taking Donald Driver at wide receiver. And then I'm taking Jair Alexander at corner.
There you go. See, I was waiting. When is
Creeps me out.
someone
I
gonna?
can't see him, and I just like his voice just starts to get all weird.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but I was waiting for someone to go for Jair. I mean, I feel like he's got to be on this team. Is it messed up that like a huge part of me wants to say Matt Flynn because like
I was
love
gonna
him.
say I'm seeing no Matt Flynn love in the chat.
Matt Flynn is like the ultimate GOAT of Packers quarterbacks. And when you see Rodgers, Favre, and Starr ahead of him, that means a lot. But yeah, Matt Flynn, I'm not going to be picking you today. I'm sorry. I spend most of my day and life watching Aaron Rodgers, so he's got to be my pick. I'm going to actually take a bit from Zach and go with 2/4. I'm going to go with Rodgers and Adams. And then I'm going to go with Kenny Clark and Ryan Grant. So you got the Rodgers-Adams connection, running back that's going to run you over, and then a big, scary, mean guy in the middle of your defense to stuff the run from the other team. So I got Rodgers-Adams, Grant, and Clark. So now the question is, if only there was a way we could find out whose team was the best.
I mean, I'm just saying everybody I picked has won a Super Bowl. So
But Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl, and I picked him.
my entire team.
Oh,
you don't have to be so aggressive, Jen. Unbelievable.
I'm just saying.
God, everything's a competition with you.
Yeah, it is.
What do you think? Think you're better than me? I know.
I think you're better than me at something.
100%.
Yeah, truthfully, yeah, you're both definitely are. But all right, so we're gonna do a quick run through, and in the comments, it's up to you if you guys would vote or don't vote.
Oh, we have our first Favre, I think.
Ooh, we got a Favre, Lacey.
Favre throwing to Adams.
That would be interesting. I mean, yeah, Devontae, I think he could handle.
Zach is frozen for me. Is he frozen for you?
He is. I thought he was just shocked from the question. He was frozen. I mean, if only he just got that damn Ethernet. Like, it's just so
I know. His internet would be so much better. We'll probably get 2 Zachs again now.
Yeah, see, that would be fun. And this time I'll be ready to screenshot it. But while Zach is gone, just to recap our 3 teams, they all came out actually really different. Jen went with Bart Starr, Ryan Grant, Jordy Nelson, and Charles Woodson. Zach, Aaron Rodgers, Amon Green, Donald Driver, and Jair Alexander. And we got 2 Zach.
Oh, wow. There it is.
Not again.
Well, apparently Zach's the only one who has his own back, so.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Zach, Jen just said while you were gone she was going to buy you an Ethernet cable that's going to reach wherever you want around the world.
Yeah.
So oh, no. Your sidekick was gone.
Hey, it took almost 43 minutes for me to have an internet issue. Yeah. So that's pretty good. I'll take that.
Yeah,
so
Zach,
proud.
I am. Thank you.
Zach lasted 43 minutes. It's impressive stuff.
Disgusting, Eli.
I know. Parker. Yeah, she's ruthless against me for no reason.
I have plenty of reason.
Jen, I'll be honest, I was being disgusting, but the fact that you picked up on it is kind of disappointing and more disgusting on your end. So
wait, what?
See, Zach didn't even get it. That's how
Zach was too busy being mad at me.
No, I was too busy defending myself. I'm an innocent
If
man.
they know what you did, if they watched Draft Day, they would understand.
Well, real quick, Jen, because you've been so mean to Zach, I'm going to have to do this to you live. So it says an imposter is on the loose. Loose reminds me of another word. Maybe just change the first letter of that word and just see what happens. Maybe change the L to an M. Yeah, there might be an imposter on the moose.
What word does that make, Eli?
I think it's moose.
Okay.
So, Jen, can you tell us?
Moose. Sorry.
Thank you. I waited 3 weeks, okay? 3 weeks I waited to allow you to say moose because...
It sounds normal. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. Everyone in the chat, please say it one more time so everyone can get a good listen and they'll decide.
Weird. Moose.
Okay.
Moose.
Moose. Everyone who heard that in the chat, Please tell me if that's how you would pronounce the word moose.
See, and I try and practice too. It's really sad.
Yeah, Jen wakes up every morning, and instead of like doing like 20 push-ups, she looks in the mirror and just goes moose, moose, just over and over.
I said it normally one time, and I think that might have been my free pass in life, and now I'm stuck with moose. So
yeah, that's true, by the way. You did say it correctly once, and it was like you probably should have just never said it again.
I know.
That was kind of on you. And again, gonna blame you for that as always. But
yeah, per usual. There, Zach, do you feel better?
A little bit.
I feel a little bit better, to be honest with you. But before we close out the show, like I said, there was another draft prospect we wanted to discuss today. Someone that I think most of Packers Nation is a big fan of. It's just a matter of if the Packers front office will be, and that's wide receiver Rondale Moore, who, when healthy, has just been incredible in college. But the key words there are when healthy, because since his freshman year, he's missed a lot of time. He only played 3 games in last year due to a lower body injury, and then he had a hamstring injury that made him miss 7 games in 2019. But as a true freshman, Moore became the first true freshman consensus All-American in Big Ten history. As a true freshman, he caught 114 balls, 1,258 yards, and 12 touchdowns. He is really, really explosive and amazing with the ball in his hands. So I'm going to throw up his highlights up here while we discuss him a bit more. But Zach, I know you're a fan of him. Just look at that. Tell me another guy in the Packers team right now that bounces off a tackle like that and is just gone.
There isn't one. Kind of reminds me a lot of like the way Randall Cobb used to kind of.
That's exactly what I thought when I was watching the highlights.
Exactly, same type of style.
He's someone that he's 5'9", and
that one made my jaw drop, and then I was really upset because I saw the W on the helmet and I knew it was against the Badgers. I was like, man, that hurt.
When I put that in there, I was like, yeah, Jen's gonna have a problem with this. So see, look at this. Everyone wants to say size this. 5'9". I've seen like 4 plays where this guy's been trucking people, and like I said last week, an inch or two in one direction is not going to make a player good or bad. It's about whether or not they're good or bad. And Rondale Moore looks like someone who's damn good at what he does, and he's versatile. He could run the ball. You could put him in the slot. You could put him in the backfield. He just seems like the perfect fit for LaFleur's offense. So, Jen, do you think the Packers can finally overlook their? Is there a word for like height supremacy? I feel like a heightist, but that definitely isn't a word. But I mean, I want this guy on the Packers. What about you two?
Yeah, I mean, watching him, it's like he doesn't look small because he plays big, which I think is super important. And it's one of the things that really was important to me when I was watching some of his highlights were his eyes. And when you're smaller like that and you're kind of getting overshadowed by the defense, those eyes are so important to like not lose the ball when there's a guy obviously towering over you. So that was something that I really took into consideration. And you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers who can so accurately throw the ball to you, it makes it that much easier. And yeah, the way that he gets yards after contact, what he could do from the line of scrimmage. There was even some highlights I saw of him on special teams as a returner. So he's very versatile. And yeah, I would love to see him on this team. Yeah, I was watching him and I was like, damn, I feel like I'm watching Randall Cobb and I'm getting a little nostalgic. But it was like what he does. Yeah, injury, if he can keep that under control, it would be huge to see him in that position with the Packers.
That's what scares me is the injury stuff.
Yeah.
Which I feel like the Packers usually shy away from, but I just feel like, I mean, his talent, he in 3 games this year, he had 35 receptions. I mean, he's just an automatic when you put him on the field when he's healthy. Obviously, he needs to be healthy for that to happen, but Zach, every week we're discussing, they're not, the receiver must be this size, that size. You think there's ever going to be a receiver that's going to break that mold for Goody, and could it be more?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, just being real. I don't want to crush anyone's dreams. I mean, because if I'm crushing anyone's dreams, I'm crushing my dreams too.
I was gonna say, yep.
Yeah. But if we're being completely honest with ourselves, I mean, let's be fully transparent here. They're probably not going to do that. They're going to stick to the same weird guidelines they've been following forever. But if they were going to break them for somebody, it would be cool if it was for Rondale Moore. I mean, I get Randall Cobb vibes, but I also get kind of like Tyreek Hill vibes, you know, minus the being a completely shitty person part.
Got him. Yeah.
You know, that's just totally explosive when he gets the ball in his hands. Someone that's not going to go down, or someone that's, you know, he's not going to go down easily. He's going to elude so many guys at once. And, you know, at some point, it should just matter if guys can play, not if they meet certain threshold. Like if you get the ball in your hands and you're that dynamic of a player, and Matt LaFleur, we all know he would have so much fun with a guy like that. He would find so many ways to weaponize him.
The things you could do on offense, like the tricks and like just the things you could put into the playbook with him on roster, it would be like the offense would be that much better.
Yeah, and like you said, he's small, but he plays big.
Yeah,
you know, he's that type of special player, you know. And I think, you know, screw the threshold for certain guys, throw them out the window, you know.
Yeah, exactly. He seems like one of those guys that, like you said, you might have a philosophy or feeling this way or another about certain things, but when you see someone with that much talent, you just go with it. I mean, as a true freshman, so that means the guy's 18 years old, caught 114 balls for nearly 1,300 yards. Like, that's insane. And it's not like he was necessarily playing with the greatest quarterback.
I was going to say Purdue isn't exactly.
Yeah.
Being familiar with Big Ten, I know Purdue isn't like top dog. So
he wasn't playing with, you know, any kind of Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck type quarterback. He was, and like we saw, doing a ton of it after the catch, which is another thing the Packers need. Someone who could catch a short
then you
pass.
Think about who could be blocking in front of him too, and it like makes me sweat because it gets me excited.
Yeah, I mean, no, I said, look,
that was like poor phrasing. That's not what I meant.
Yeah, and at this point,
I'm sorry.
No one knows what you mean, but
it makes me sweat.
You know what I sounded like.
Yeah, that was a very creepy interpretation of what Jen said.
If that's what I sound like, I think I need to be cut off from.
No, you don't sound like that. You don't sound like that. All right.
Yeah, I just whatever, pronounce different words weird. It's fine.
Yeah, you just can't say the word moose.
Which by the way, the comment section thought I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from Minnesota, so
yeah,
that would explain things.
As you can tell, by the way, neighbors. Minnesota.
Yeah, but we talk a little different apparently.
Yeah. Again, I don't really believe in accents. I think they're a myth. So
I also think water's unnatural. So
water is unnatural. It's all wet and shit. Get off me. Can't be around it.
Yeah, it's the most natural thing in the world. But
Ben was yelling at me because I didn't want to drink water, and I said water is unnatural, unhealthy, and disgusting.
And a scam.
What? A scam. I said water was a scam. Yeah. Because it's all about big water trying to force us into drinking water. Not going to happen.
You're made of water.
You're made of water. Got him.
Yes, I am. I'm not a robot, so yeah.
No, I'm not.
I'm sorry. I disagree with Eli, but he did get you with that one. I'm sorry.
No, look, I will say this. Water has its place in the world, just not in my world. That's just the bottom line. I'm not a fan.
I'm like hearing like the water boy, like the water sucks. It really, really sucks.
Is that from
you
Water
guys
Boy?
Understand that, right? Did I make a movie reference you don't know?
I think you did.
Oh my gosh.
Which movie?
Where's that from?
Waterboy.
Oh, I've seen Waterboy.
I've seen Water. Yeah,
I said Waterboy, and you guys both just stared at me.
No, Waterboy. I mean,
everyone's saying water so damn fast. I mean, I didn't hear you say Waterboy. I mean, just kind of like tuned down. I'm sorry.
You just like tune me out. It's fine. Thanks.
No, that's.
You're done. It's over. Yeah, the misinterpretation, Zach. the lagging, the lack of Ethernet. I mean, you're just all over the place. It's unbelievable.
I get it. I mean,
I was hoping your face would have froze.
He was froze for a second there, but you could still hear him.
You had a great.
that was just my brain processing how much of a piece of shit I am.
Well, that's good. I'm happy that you have.
We'll forgive you and be back next week. It's fine.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, speaking of next week, we were planning on playing a Packers themed game of Jeopardy today, but because of the press conferences on Tuesday, there was a lot more news than we expected, so we're going to push that off prior to next week. So for all you Jeopardy fans, you're going to want to be here next week because it's going to be fun. And we will also continue to look at draft prospects and any other news surrounding the Packers.
For the record, I'm hosting because obviously I suck at trivia if you watched last week. So
Jen's hosting.
I'm retiring from participating.
No, you're definitely not retiring because we need more, we need to win also. Me and Zach, we're sick of losing. So it's like everyone.
I'm gonna beat whoever's in front of me. It doesn't matter.
Ooh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
You could feel the cockiness through the screen.
It's not cockiness. It's confidence.
Ooh, got him. All right.
All you have to do is just cheat and take away his points like I did, and
that's true. I could just pull it down and be like, "No, I want that point," and then
no, that one didn't count.
Yeah, but next week's gonna be a fun episode. Jen's gonna be hosting Jeopardy, much like Aaron Rodgers will be hosting Jeopardy.
Yes.
I mean, one of the many similarities between Jen and Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, everyone's seen my QB clip, so
exactly, that throw was very Aaron Rodgers-esque. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for next week's show. But before we head out, first off, everyone who tuned in, thank you. We appreciate all of you, anyone who put your teams in there for your build a roster. I have to say, I think mine was the best, but maybe we'll put we'll put a poll out on Twitter who had the best team.
Do we put Zach's first and second, or?
No, I'm just gonna do first, second, and third, and take it all for myself.
Is he gonna put out like a statement like he did with his music thing, like, but here is actually what I picked?
Oh yeah, the music. Yeah, I did see that.
Oh, all my undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it was a good haul, but I mean whatever.
No, to be fair, like I knew two of your picks, so
I was a bit lost in that whole thing. I think I ended up voting. Did I vote for Dusty? I think I voted for Dusty. In
the comments, I picked two of Zach. Like I knew two of the ones that he was gonna pick.
Well, I knew,
Queen and Billy Joel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those didn't surprise me as your picks, that's for sure. But I'll be honest, a lot of the bands I just didn't recognize. Maybe I'm not.
Wait, so you didn't even vote for me?
Okay, first off,
who did you vote for? I
don't remember exactly, but I said I think I voted. It was between you and Dusty. I don't because I really went off.
Zach had Queen, Metallica, and Billy Joel. That should have won it for you.
Okay, so yeah, if it was those three, then I definitely did because Queen and Billy Joel is like, yeah, Metallica. I'm not all that into, but yeah, if you had Queen and Billy Joel, then that must have been the one I voted for. So Zach, now,
dead to me, Eli.
I knew it. Once you take the mic off the stand, see, I need to get a real mic. My mic is like a big circle. And if I had a real mic,
you have a snowball. That's what I have.
Yeah, the snowball's good, but you can't do the mic drop with a snowball. It's just not as fun.
I mean, I dropped mine earlier, if that counts, but
I guess a little.
Thank you, Parker, for voting for me. Or Mike Eli.
I voted for you.
I didn't say you didn't.
Where's my shout out?
Your voice just jumped about 12 octaves.
Can we end this? Can we end this show, please?
Absolutely.
I'm just waiting for my immediate release apology, and then I'll knock it off.
You know what? You're not gonna get one.
Ooh.
All right then.
You just placed it down and did this. No, you got That does not count. That's not a mic drop. That was like a mic placement.
It's because he's not actually mad at me, so he can't.
That too, but I also don't want to break it. I mean, come on, this is my
It's
money.
gonna be worth it.
It's worth the break, but
I think in a week you could get a new mic.
Yeah, well, three to 5
days. Look, if you can't get Ethernet,
and then you could, when you go to Best Buy or wherever you get your mic, you can pick up an Ethernet cable. And
hey, we are in a Panasonic. I'm not going to Best Buy.
Oh, I guess you are California. You're
Panasonic, Best Buy. I don't know.
And I don't even know what Panasonic means.
Sorry, we're in a panorama.
A panoramic.
Yeah,
I'm extremely lost.
Have you been living under a rock, Eli? Have we been in a panoramic for the last 12 months?
You mean a pandemic?
Yeah, that's what I said.
We're in a Pandora. Duh.
Okay.
Yeah, what the hell is this guy?
All right. I might be. I think I'm tripping. I don't know what's going on right now.
Eli's sick, so he could genuinely think that this is like.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I'm hearing
he probably thinks he's hallucinating, and the show actually didn't happen.
And that's open book for everybody. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We love you guys.
I'm tripping out. Zach is mic dropping, and Jen can't say moose, but you could follow Jen on Twitter at BigMac_4, Zach at It's Zachariah J, myself at Book of Eli _NFL, and Game On Wisconsin at Game On WI. Again, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.
Surveying, fires, that's caught.